I think there's a lot to say when it comes to this offense going in, obviously, the first 3 weeks of the season and what has really been thrown at us, which I can really appreciate. And to tell everybody that I think we just need to be patient. We have to sit and we just have to wait until we kind of get the rhythm going offensively. I think we're almost there. I feel like it's not going to be too far along where Brian Johnson's going to get in his groove. And I want to talk more about the unappreciated group of guys that we really didn't talk about the other day, and I think that's the linebackers. I think they did a fantastic job, and with Nakobe Dean still being out, and a little bit on the Washington Commanders, our first divisional game come next week.
You better do. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So, wanted to kind of go over real quick, just in general, this offense. I understand that there might be some Eagles fans right now that are frustrated, like we're not like we were last year. Everybody has to stop talking about last year. Okay, this is a new team. You have a new coordinator offensively this year. Well, two new coordinators, obviously, but a new coordinator this year that was with Shane Steichen last year and Brian Johnson. And out of the 3 weeks, and unfortunately, because due to our off season and what we didn't have enough time with this new coordinator. I didn't think that Brian Johnson would have been a big problem in the beginning of the season and the play calling being so vanilla as it has been. But I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game Monday night was the most complete game we have played. But is it perfect? No. Is there a lot of room to improve? Definitely. But I think what was really thrown at us that I think we really have to put into account here is you face three really good defensive coordinators, okay? Between Bill Belichick, between Brian Flores, and Todd Bowles, it's a tall stack to really have to deal with that the first 3 weeks. Not to mention, the Eagles had to play a short week. They had to play 2 games in the first week of the season, on top of barely having played in the offseason, resting so many starters. Some of the older guys haven't even played since the Super Bowl last year. We had to deal with a lot, but the thing is, though, with this team and the way we deal with adversity, okay, it's a good thing to see that the Eagles are finding ways to win offensively. Now, the defense has definitely played very well. I think up to date right now, the defense has played fantastic. But offensively, a lot of room to improve here. Jalen Hurts, is he running as much even in that Tampa Bay game? Not really. They kind of stopped doing the cornerback, run design plays. We need work in the red zone. We need work on distribution to the running backs. I don't know what's going on with Rashad Penny right now. Are they getting the running backs into the passing game? We're seeing glimpses of them trying to get the running backs into the passing game, where the first week they tried it, didn't work. This week, well, this past Monday night, they tried it, and obviously between Jalen Hurts and, I think he had one pass to Kenneth Gainwell for 5 yards for a completion. But other than that, they threw to DeAndre Swift, and that's when Devin White had the pick, which I couldn't blame Jalen Hurts for that whatsoever, because I just think both of them were just not on the same page. And he shook his head, so I'm guessing it was all on DeAndre Swift. It was his fault on that play. But like I said, it's going to come down to, getting Jalen Hurts into a rhythm. And I felt like they did a pretty good job. I think there were some bonehead substitutions. I didn't like the 4th and 2, so we can nitpick at things we didn't like. I think Dallas Goedert needs to be more involved, heavily work the middle of the field. If you're going to play cover, if every defense is going to play cover 0 against us and they're going to move 8 guys back, whatever they're going to do, the underneath route was there, and Tampa Bay did that all night. So you leave the underneath route open, where that that A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith is going to make the first guy miss pretty much in open space and get that first down. This is why you had a receiver in A.J. Brown that dropped 2 touchdowns, but still had 130 yards. And, obviously your run game with DeAndre Swift, second in rushing in the league right now at 308 yards, and had 130 yards on 17 carries, whatever it was, 18 carries this week, which is kind of crazy. Getting the wide receiver 3s involved. And since Quez Watkins is probably going to be back by next week, we'll see how that hamstring is. But Olamide Zaccheaus is showing up. And when given opportunity on 2 really big catches. I think the other one to the end zone that Alameda had that was thrown, I think Hurts should have thrown that a little too high, because I think Alameda did have separation in the back right hand of the end zone, right side of the end zone. But, kind of threw it kind of too much towards him, and kind of could have leaded that throw a little bit better and put it a little high so he can go get it, so no one gets a hand on it. So I think potentially Zaccheaus probably would have had 2 touchdowns, another touchdown in this game as well. So there's little stupid things here. If the team was playing, if they weren't playing up to standard, the team could just fall apart, and they just don't. I mean, that's why all these players believe in what Nick Sirianni is doing with the culture of this team, and Jalen Hurts kind of gravitating those players towards him, and I think it's going to get better. It took a little bit of time. I don't think it's there yet, but like I said, between the red zone offense, getting a lot of different positions involved, so we're not looking to, people kind of know, defenses kind of know what we're doing when specific players are in there. I feel like the Eagles are starting to not say that they're trying to force Jalen Hurts to be more of a pocket guy. I feel like Hurts needs to be patient, and I thought those 2 passes to Alameda were very patient in the pocket, especially the touchdown pass. I mean, I thought he was going to bail, and I think there are instances where Jalen Hurts bails too early at times. I think on that Alameda throw, I forgot what pass. I know Goddard was open. Goddard was missed open a lot of times the past few weeks, and we need to get him in those big receptions, because he is always open. So I know I'm nitpicking right now, but like I said, I think we have to give the offense its props, and give Brian Johnson his props for what he did. There was a little bit of bonehead decisions. I think we need to figure out a few things. Is it perfect? Like I said, no, definitely not. We just got to stop comparing things to last year. Last year, if we had Shane Steichen this year and we were playing this bad, or not this badly, but if we were playing subpar from what Shane did last year and Shane was still here, then I would say, okay, it makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't. It's a new coordinator. The Eagles missed a lot of time in the offseason gelling together as an offense, as a group, and I think that's what really affected it. A short week in the first week, and the rest is said. But like I said, they did a fantastic job the few weeks, and just winning, just keeping and sticking together and winning. Obviously, the defense definitely helped a lot the past few weeks, which we'll get into in this video as well. But that's all I really got to say about that, because I think it's definitely a tall order to deal with in the first few weeks of the season, as the schedule will get harder in the second half of the season, because really until that Miami game, feel pretty comfortable right now of where we're going and the direction we're heading. Once we hit that Miami game, then we're going to really see what this team is made of by that time, which we get to the second half of that schedule, which will be very interesting. Secondly, would like to go over the linebackers. I think they weren't getting enough credit. Sean Desai played his best defensive game. The only issue I have right now is the soft zone. Other than that, I think they're really good. Every time I hear the commentators say, oh, the Eagles are blitzing, blitz, like I'm hearing blitzes, and it's great. And I'm seeing it. Like I'm seeing Zach Cunningham on the line, and he's about to go in. And I mean, that's what I like so much. That's what we were missing last year. And we finally got that. And I think Zach Cunningham has been fantastic. I mean, he was all over the place in this game. He was all over the place in the Tampa Bay game, especially in the beginning. He was making tackles all over the place. You got a savvy vet right there. If he stays healthy, he's a great player. He was a big player for the Titans when he signed to some big money. And unfortunately, he just had an injury problem. And we need to keep this linebacker core very healthy by the time Nakobe Dean comes back. And Nicholas Morrow is a veteran player that obviously was on the practice squad when Nakobe Dean was playing. And then they brought him up as soon as Nakobe Dean got the foot injury. So I think even he got the safety in the game and has been making tackles left and right, which is great. And I think Desai has been the most aggressive we've seen with this defense, and I think with a better defensive line. What I like about Desai is he's not putting too much on the defensive line, and I want to do my 4-man pass rush and depend on that the whole entire game. And I don't think you should do that. You got to let everybody help out. Like, I'm not saying the most blitzing teams are the most successful, because sometimes the teams that blitz the most in the league aren't necessarily the most successful at times. But as long as they're somewhat doing it, I don't really care. I think everybody's playing at a high level. I think we found out a few players in this defense are doing pretty good. I think with Sidney Brown, what's going on with him and how they really need to play him more. The safety spot with Reed Blankenship. And like I said, even the first, second week of the season on a really short week, you had 3 starters out, 2 on your defense. So it really did hurt. And you lost the third player on your defense with Avonte Maddox. So they're trying to figure that right now going into the rest of the season, whether they dip in the free agency pool or they're going to stick with what they have, which I think they should, and maybe add a player just as a luxury for the trade deadline if that's what they want to do defensively. But the linebackers in general, what if these linebackers play so well? What if Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow play so well together and Nakobe Dean comes back? And the one thing you have to worry about Nakobe Dean coming back in a few weeks, he was going to be out a month, so he's going to be out probably another couple weeks after the Washington game this Sunday. So, I don't know what to say. I think Nakobe Dean's going to get another shot. I think Nicholas Morrow will go back to practice squad. They have to protect it. They have to protect him so nobody takes him off our practice squad because Nicholas Morrow is just way too valuable. Obviously was with the Bears when Sean Desai was the defensive coordinator to the quality control guy when he was over there with Vic Fangio as well. Knows the coach well, knows the play style, knows the playbook well. So it's good. It's good. Nicholas Morrow was the green dot and was calling some plays as well for the defense, which was awesome. What if Nakobe Dean comes back and he's not playing well? And I didn't think, look, and I understand like Nakobe Dean only had sample sizes last year. That's why I didn't want to go over the line about Nakobe Dean. Injuries are injuries at the end of the day. You can't control what these players do get in game. It just happens that way. But I think with Nakobe Dean coming back into the mix, I'm hoping that he can stay healthy. That's going to be the number one thing I'm going to be worrying about is him staying healthy. And hopefully he does. And, he's been in the film room studying and being around the linebackers and watching a lot of film and just trying to mentally get better. I didn't think his coverage was too great. I understand it's the beginning of the season. Really, at the end of the day, like Dean only played a game. I mean, that's it. I mean, he hasn't been playing the past couple weeks, and unfortunately, it's not like he had, a half a season under his belt last year as a full-time starter. He never did. So we expected that there was going to be, some rust and to get himself acclimated to the game of football again as a full-time starter for his first year. Is Nakobe Dean going to make this linebacker core worse in the future, or is it going to make it better? I think it will make it better, but Nakobe Dean has got to really show up. And when he gets back, he's not going to be 100%, so he's got to kind of work his way back in again and make sure he gets to 100% where he feels great. And, he's not coming off an ACL, an MCL. He's not coming off an Achilles or anything like that. He's coming off of a foot injury. So it's nothing crazy. It's nothing, to freak out about. But I think what we have right now, and I think, Zach Cunningham and Nicholas Morrow really have to they got to stay healthy. As much as I like Christian Ellis, I think he's a missed tackling machine at times. I think he's always around the football. I think there's something there. I think there is definitely something there, but definitely needs a little bit more work. And you have 2 vets. You got 2 vets at your linebacker spot. You couldn't really ask for more than that. It might not be too young at that position right now, obviously with Nakobe Dean not being in the mix, but I think you're pretty good. Just don't want to get another injury at that spot because then we're going to look very vulnerable going down the line of the season. And then lastly, I want to talk about the Washington Commanders. Usually I do this at the end of the week, but this is very important. This is the first divisional game within the division. Take the record books out. Take everything out. I don't care if Sam Howell threw 4 picks last week. I don't care if he got sacked 10 times last week. I don't care. It means absolutely nothing to me because divisional games are always close. And, with the Eagles, who knows? They might wipe the floor with them. They might, it might be back and forth. It might be a blowout. Maybe we blow them out. I have no idea. But I'm not going to overstep and say that, this is going to be an easy game because divisional games are never easy. The good thing is it's in Philadelphia. That's the number one thing that's great about it. Number 2, I don't want to say that Sam Howell is a bad quarterback, okay? I think that has been the only problem with Washington offensively, that they've been looking for a quarterback, and they have a good roster offensively, okay? Between Robinson as a really good bruiser back with some elusiveness. You got Gibson as the speed, the speedster running back that's elusive and can line up anywhere. The offensive line's not too bad. Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel. I mean, even that backup tight end that played last week against the Bills, I thought he was pretty good, and they got him involved. If Sam Howell has a clean pocket, the guy could throw. The guy has an arm. There's no doubt about it. But when he gets pressure, just like we kind of had to say about what we're going to do to Baker Mayfield, he gets in his own head. I think that's the problem. And that's him being a full-time starter for his first year of his career ever. So, you have to learn from things like that because he played horrible against the Bills. The Bills defense, the difference with the Bills defense, okay, is that they don't play off coverage as much as the Eagles do. That's the issue, okay, because as much as, I love the size offense right now, defense, I love how they're blitzing. I love how they're violent. I love what this defensive line is doing. It's really helping out the secondary beyond. We're blitzing linebackers. We're doing what we wanted to do last year. And Javon Hargrave, who? Really, it's just damn, it's crazy. I feel like we're doing all the right things, and that's the only thing that annoys me. And look, we've won games. I mean, the statistics for when we faced the Vikings, Kirk Cousins' statistics are fantastic, but they lost the game, and they're 0-3 right now. You know what I mean? Like, even with Justin Jefferson getting over 130, 140 yards, whatever it was, in the whole entire game, and you would think because of those statistics, they would have won the game, but they didn't. Sometimes it's not all about the style of statistics that really tells the game. It's all about, how smart you are during a game and how, and what works, you roll with it. What doesn't work, you stay away from it at times. I think Washington's defensive line is no joke, man. It's a good defensive line. They've had it for a while. Montez Sweat and the rest of the guys, outside linebacker, I think is great. Emmanuel Forbes is a fantastic cornerback. Not really worried about the matchups with the corners, but I think the pressure, the offensive line is going to have a tough task against Washington and their defensive line. And I'm just saying this. They have a good team. They have a good team. Literally, the final piece of the puzzle of that Washington team is literally just getting a good quarterback in there that could take them over the top. Do I think Sam Howell is the answer to all of that? No, I don't. Do I think there's something there with Sam Howell where it could be the best quarterback they've had of recent? Sure. But I'm not going to say that because of what the Bills did to them last week. And like I said, 10 sacks. 4 picks for Sam Howell. That's good for us because, there's a lot of tape on them now. That's what's good about watching other teams later in the weeks because you develop more tape study. When you face someone week 1, week 2, there's really not much to take because teams could take advantage of that and add in more plays and do different things that you're not seeing the past couple weeks. But with more tape and more film going into now week 4, there's a lot of tape on Washington, and hopefully they take advantage of that. I think, like I said, this isn't as easy as everyone thinks it's going to be. And look, if the Eagles blow them out and they totally just wow me to death, then great. I think the weakness to the Washington Commanders offensively is that quarterback, 100%. That is their weakest link. And I think once you rattle him, he gets rattled the rest of the game. You get in his head the rest of the game, and I think you see some insufficient throws, underthrown, overthrown, easy picks. It's coming our way, and I do feel it. But I'm not going to overstep my boundary and say that this is going to be easy because I think it's far from it at the end of the day. So, other than that, let me know what you guys think about, obviously, the linebacker position in general and what the Eagles have done offensively the past 3 weeks. If you're satisfied, think there's more to do. And look, I respect everybody's opinions because I don't think the Eagles have played to 100% standard, no doubt. But the way you've been winning these football games has been absolutely amazing. And I have to give them, you don't want to peak too early in the season. Okay, you don't want to peak too early. Winning in style does not matter, but this offense needs to start rolling sooner or later. It's like I feel like the Eagles have playing besides the Tampa game or at least the past few weeks, I feel like they've been playing like their 3 preseason games that they missed. That's how I felt they've been playing like it was preseason. They're just learning at the wrong time or trying to get this offense going at the wrong time when they should already have been prepared beginning of the season. But lackluster of Not doing enough in the offseason will get you to that point. And then obviously the Washington Commanders. What do you think of that matchup? I kind of want to touch on it because, like, I'm not going into this like, oh, yeah, like, look at the statistics last week. They were horrible, blah, blah, blah. Not going to do that. Not going to do that. And we got to face the Bills on top of it this year later. I think week 12. I think we have Kelly Green that week as well. So other than that, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a fantastic day. Enjoy your work week and enjoy it all. 3-0, and would it be nice to get to 4-0? It's a big game coming up this week for the first divisional matchup. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.